Hello everyone, and after another year, welcome back to my channel. If you are here, then you probably know who I am, and if you don't know who I am, then you're about to get acquainted with me real fast because today I am coming back with a really exciting Q&A video. Either way, you are here, this is my channel, and I am Haley Inez. Personally, I feel like for the past year I felt like having imposter syndrome, and I personally didn't want to share anything from my personal life because it felt like no one wanted to hear from me. They just wanted my work. But I've come to realize over the years, thanks to a lot of polls that I've done, talking to different readers individually, not just through the comment section, and even the comment section, I just kind of realized that people actually do want to hear from me. They actually do want to see my life. As a matter of fact, one of a couple of the questions for the Q&A that I'm doing today are a lot of people asking about my personal life, which I thought was really sweet. I think I just get really nervous about all of that because for me to do that, it requires me to be vulnerable and to let you guys into a part of me that is me and not this manufactured version that I know everyone will be okay with writing their books. But I've decided to let go of those fears, no longer let them control me, and I want to be someone that I can be proud of. Like me, myself, I just want to be able to look back years down the line when I've got all my books out and be like, I put my all into it. I didn't just try and do this manufactured perfect person. I was vulnerable. I gave all that I had, and I'm really excited to go on this new journey with all of you because I am a completely new author. So, without further ado, let's jump into this Q&A. Will I ever pick up Broken in the future? Broken was a book that I started a few years ago. It was on Wattpad for a little bit. It was on Patreon too. It's still in my what's coming up section just because I will work on it one day, but for now it's shelved because I kind of lost inspiration when I was writing it. It's basically about a kid or our main character, our male main character, who's adopted into this family. He's violent, likes to fight, and our female main character is basically a lawyer, and their family is loyal to this family. Long story short, yes, I will be picking up Broken in the future. Anything that you see in my what's coming up section of my Patreon will be picked up in the future because they are stories that I really wanted to work on. I really want to have an entire story out for them. But at the time, I just lost inspiration. I lost the plot. Personally, I don't believe in writing books if I lose the plot because then you just get this ugly garbage and it doesn't really make sense. You've got random things in there, which honestly, if you go to my original manuscript of Pet, I have 6 different manuscripts, but if you go to the original, which is on Patreon, you'll see that the storyline just kind of goes all over the place. Even Deadly Vows, the original of Deadly Vows was quite literally all over the place. I mean, it was written probably just scene for scene and there was no plot in it. So if I put something down, it's for good reason because I'm not someone who can properly, invest myself in a story and give you a good story that you deserve. Long story short, yes, I will be picking up Broken in the future, though I don't know how close in the future that will be because I have the Pet series, I have the Blood Cake series, I have Imperfection, which I was really obsessed with and I really want to jump back into, and then I have Among Us, which I'm also really excited about. I really love writing about fantasy, so that's one that I'm super excited to jump on. So I don't know how soon I'll be working on it, but I promise I will. Next question. What will I release after Torment? Honestly, I think I want to jump straight into the final book in the Pet series after I finish with Torment, just because the Pet series is very popular. I published because I was okay, I have readers from Wattpad and stuff, but my books have spanned outside of the Wattpad region and people are discovering it on Amazon and stuff. So I figure I can't just jump on another story and then wait and publish it. And honestly, I'm super excited about the Pet series and finishing it. I'm excited about working on Revelations, which is the title of the final book in the series. I'm only doing 3 books for this series, and yeah. And I'm really excited to jump on that, honestly. Last year, when I finished Pet Genesis, I got it published. I took a break from the Pet series, and I didn't even start on the sequel until maybe like October, November. And now here I am, all the way in July, when I originally wanted to release the sequel, and I'm like behind, and I probably won't release until maybe sometime in the fall. So for sure, as soon as I get everything published and finished, I'm going to jump straight into Revelation. That's going to be like the next thing that I jump on. This is what I mean about being like shocked that people are interested in my personal life. I briefly at one point posted and let my readers know on my Instagram that I was busy with other things, and I was like, oh, I can't like update this week because I've been working on like this other business that I started, and I like posted a picture of like from my band. And I like can't believe that people are actually like interested in it, so where they want to see videos and stuff of it. I've been in bands for I guess like 3 years now. I did a disco band, I did an 80s band, and then me and some of the members started a country band, and so that's where we're at now. I do love performing just because it helps me get out of my comfort zone. I am a shy person by nature, but when I perform, I can step into this persona where I can, do as I please, and no one's like, why are you up there dancing and having a good time? It's like, because it's my job. I'm supposed to be doing it. But we started this band a few months ago. We're still trying to get more shows. We've had a couple shows so far, but I will leave the link for the website. The website is called SouthernCharmBandTexas.com, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Southern Charm, or I will post a little snippet right here. If I didn't put anything there, then I just look weird right now posing. But yeah, that's my band. I have the most talented people in it that I've ever encountered in my life, and I will stand by that always and forever. If you ever are in Texas and decide to pop up to one of my shows, you will see. So yeah, that's that. So this is my bread and butter. I love talking about Remus. He's my favorite character. Absolutely my favorite character I've ever created. Cassian's a strong second, but I'm sorry, Remus is my favorite. I created Remus to kind of be the voice of people who have been wronged, I guess. He's a very complex character, and I wanted to stress in the first book that his motivations were basically out of like disgust for what humanity had become, what he had witnessed, watched, and seen, especially coming from a culture that's not as like diverse as Earth is, which is, also like his confusion. He's like, the fuck? Like, this stuff should be like really interesting to each other, but you were all, fighting against each other, so it made no sense to him. It was just what you would call, I guess, like primitive behavior in Remus's eyes, because you should be above that. It's kind of like Snake Jazz, if anyone's ever watched Rick and Morty, the episode of when they travel to the snake planet and they're like, you're all snakes. Like, that's basically, I thought that was like a cool thing that came out, and I was like, oh. I can't really explain too much of Remus's motivations right now, just because Torment hasn't come out yet, and you get a super deep glimpse into like why he does what he does in that book. But I created Remus's character to be a very complicated character. I wanted my readers to be able to understand him and understand his, I guess, initial motivations on Earth, and why he's, does what he does, why he feels what he feels, and why Iris is important to him. It wouldn't make sense, Iris, even coming into his line of vision and like catching his attention if it was something that he hadn't seen. And I know some readers try and point out, they're like, I'm sure he's seen like selfless things, and no. Let me explain how, in my vision of how like the takeover exists, it's people in power are the people that Remus has only ever dealt with. So he's never seen like the selfless acts that may or may not have happened. We see why he was on Earth in the first place in the second book more in depth. Like, I don't want to spoil you guys. I think the second book out of all 3 is probably like, it's my favorite. It for sure is. It's like really deep. Oh, I'm not going to get into it. I'm like, I'm going to spoil you guys before it's even out. Okay, I'm not talking about the second book, okay? Nothing. No spoilers. Ugh. All in all, this question is basically, I cannot answer it, but I promise I will come back to it once I publish Torment and do a separate video describing my thought process behind Torment, my characters in Torment. Everything will be super in depth, but for now, I cannot share this information with you too deep. So, on to the next question. I really love writing process questions just because my writing process is like insane. It's all over the place. If you're on my Instagram, I am Haley Inez. You'll see that my workspace, my office area and stuff gets so messy. And that's because once I'm into something super deep, I really just need the mess. I need everything to just be out. It can be organized. I don't want to be pulling books out, trying to figure out where's the notes that I put here, where I did this. No, I just need I have my book open here, my notes open here, my book right here. I have sticky notes all over my desk. I have my sticky notes on my screen, on one of my separate screens. And if you look behind me, I have my whiteboard with all of my notes on it. So I have a pretty crazy writing process, but I'm going to break it down for you for this specific question. I'm a person who writes based on motivation and inspiration. So once I see something and I get an idea for a book, I immediately start taking notes. There are notes in my phone for stories when I have ideas on the fly. There are notes in my books. There are notes. When I say there are notes everywhere, before we moved into this apartment, I used to write on the windows because my wall was like a window at my old office. And so I just had, there are still notes right here too also, but I can't reach my window anymore, so they've just dried up. But basically what I do first is any scene that I have in my head, anything that I specifically want in the book, I write that down first. Just to make sure that once I'm in the story, if I ever kind of start veering off plot or something, or I know for sure that there was something that I wanted in it, I can look at that and I'm like, oh, okay, I have to add this. I still have to add this. And then I basically build the road to that scene for it to make sense. Now, granted, if the scene doesn't make sense or if the scene, doesn't fit in the story, I will begrudgingly delete it once I am almost out of the publishing process, once I'm going through edits one more time and I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense, so this is gone. But I'm going to grab one of my notebooks. I got this from the farmer's market. It's super cute. She repurposes old books and she makes them they have scrapbooks and stuff in them. Scrapbook paper, regular paper, tea stained paper. I don't know. So this is the book that I put all of my new Torment notes in. My other book with my old notes in it is this one. And I just wanted a new book to start Torment in where I wouldn't have to flip through other things, because this has all of my character study in it, my personality studies, my expenses, my schedules, everything in there. So I wanted a specific book for Torment. I'm not someone who plans out the story, how people are oh, I have the intro and the climax and the ending and the falling and the rising action and all of that. I was never good at that in school. I used to write off the top of my head, and I still do. Personally, I think it's a better flow. I think it keeps me from being very strict. The story can go anywhere, and it's quite literally what I want. So if I had planned it out, then I'm I have to get here, I have to get to this point. But no, in my brain, I'm okay, this is all happening organically, and my brain just naturally goes to what I think should be next. So I have notes, I have specific scenes that I want to put in the book, and I just have a natural flow that I do throughout the book. I build playlists usually because music really helps me. It inspires me so much. And not regular mainstream music. I listen to lots of classical music, scores, instrumentals, all of that. So that's super motivating for me. I think a huge thing that keeps me honest and keeps me on top of what I'm doing is Patreon, honestly. When I decided to leave Wattpad, I was fortunate enough to have readers who wanted to, still follow me and continue to follow my books, and being able to make sure that I update at least weekly. So I'm basically for sure writing a chapter at least once a week is keeps me on top of things and keeps me on like a good schedule. Personally, that works for me. I also have like a backlog of chapters that I've written and scrapped because I'm just like, oh, like I hate this, or I don't like this direction, or blah blah blah. Like, you know, that's how it works. But that's basically the bones of me, my writing process. As for like just actually writing, I usually get up in the morning, I make me coffee, I watch like my Cozy K vlogs. She's like become a part of my routine. And Uncomfy, I've also started following her too. Both of their channels are very like therapeutic and calming and inspirational, honestly. I update all of my calendars, I go through my notes, and then I sit down and I reread the story up to the point that I am updating, so I can, like I said earlier, just continue with the flow. And I'll just keep writing until I get tired, or I want to take a break, or I'm hungry, or if my husband's like, hey, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, basically, that's my writing process. I can go much deeper into that. I can take you guys along with me in the future, but for now, that is just basically it for this video. Next question. Okay, so this question is from someone who has probably read the entire series from my days on Wattpad. The story is not the same, guys. At this point, at the chapters that I am at in Torment, the storyline has changed, and I don't know if I want that to be like a part of the storyline anymore. Originally, in the third book that I wrote years ago, so this is not a spoiler because it's not relevant any longer, it's not the same storyline. At the end of the book, Remus and Iris have like a kid together. And I did that just because I was young. I felt pressured because a lot of my readers, you know, left comments. You can comment on Wattpad, so a lot of my readers left comments and all of them like wanted that. So I was like, what the hell? It's the end of the series. Why not just give them what they want? And I put that in there. Now that I'm older, I don't know that I want that to be part of the storyline anymore. I don't know that I want that to be like kind of the conclusion of their story. I just feel like there are so many different directions their story could go other than just the conclusion being them having a child together. I don't know. I might change my mind. Who knows? But at this point, I don't know that that's something that I'm going to continue to like put in the story. Sorry. But you never know. Like I said, I write with the flow of my brain. My story is always changing, so it could be there, it couldn't. I don't know, but I hope that answers your question. Sorry if that's a little disappointing. And on to the next question. Okay, I guess this question piggybacks on the last question. I don't know that I'm going to give them a child. I don't know that I want to. I think that we'll see how it goes in the future. And if I did, it would be in like the third book. It would not be in the second book at all. Yeah, that's, I don't know. We don't know how that's going to go. So yeah, all I can say is like, stay tuned. Another personal question. I love personal questions, honestly. It really like gets me so inspired, like up and excited, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like they actually care like about me. Because sometimes I'll be like, you know, I'll be posting and I'll be sick or something and I'm like, oh, recovering, and then someone will like comment and be like, when's the next book coming out? And I'm like like, I don't know. So, how did I meet my husband? Okay, this is one of my favorite stories because it's basically enemies to lovers, and I think you would all appreciate that. So, I met my husband in college. Originally, I ran track and played volleyball at my original college. After 2 years, I transferred to UNT in Denton, and that is where I met my husband. I transferred there because they had a fashion program and I was really excited about the costume design. That's what I wanted to do, but I was poor and you have to pay for everything yourself and I could no longer do it, so I had to drop out of that program and jump back to my original degree, which was psychology. But I digress. Me and him had 2 classes together, and he sat behind me in one of my classes, and then in the other class it was like an auditorium style seating. And so he sat in the same row as me. Now, if you've been to college, you know that when you go to college, they don't assign seats. But everyone kind of just sits in the same seat. Like, they'll sit there and then they'll keep going like the next day and the next day and the next day. And you basically assign yourself a seat. It's like an unspoken rule that you have assigned yourself that seat and no one else needs to take it. In the auditorium style class, my husband sat in my seat. And it was very irritating. And because I am, like I said earlier, I'm very shy. I'm an introvert. I want my seat. I don't want to like make a scene about it. So once I like get my seat, once I have that there, don't take it, you know? But alas, he did. And so I had to shimmy on by him because he's a tall dude. He's 6'6". So, and it was, you know, the seats were pretty stacked close together. And so he's like kind of slouched, his like man spreading and like looking straight ahead. And I'm like, okay, this freaking guy just like took my freaking seat, and now I have to shimmy past him just to sit somewhere that's not my seat. So I'm just like, you know, like, excuse me, I'm trying to sit. And then for whatever reason, he started talking to me. I am like deathly afraid of conversation, especially when I was in college. So he was talking to me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, why is he talking to me? And I was also salty still about him taking my seat. So I'm like, why is this guy talking to me? He took my seat, like, I'm having to like move around him, and he's like talking to me like he didn't do anything. But then the conversation turned pleasant, and I told myself at that point, because I had been single for I guess a few years at that point, and I wanted to work on my shyness. I was very like, I always kept my head down. I used to have a lanyard, and I would swing it in a big circle so no one would get too close to me. Like, I was a very, very, very shy person. So when people spoke to me, I would say like the required things, and I would end the conversation and I would leave. But I realized that usually when people have prolonged conversations, they introduce themselves at the end of it. And so I was like, I'm Haley, by the way, at the end of our conversation. He's like, I'm Brandon. From that day forward, we kind of like realized that we had the two classes together, and he used to, at the end of that class, he would walk me to my next class of the day, which was right next to the parking lot where he parked, because he didn't stay on campus. He lived near, so he commuted, and he would walk to the parking lot while he was like walking me to my class. So every day we would like, you know, walk from there and stuff, and we just became friends. If anyone that I know is watching this, you all know Brandon. He's like the most outgoing, nice person. Like, he can have a conversation with anyone, he can make friends with anyone. So he was really like a breath of fresh air for me, and he was a really nice guy. So one day after one of our classes, he asked me if I wanted to go get something to eat, and I was like, sure. And so we went to this little like local bar in like downtown Denton for lunch. And it was the worst date ever. Like, actually. At one point, I went to the bathroom and I was thinking, this guy is not the one. Like, this is not. It was just, we disagreed on a lot. He's a weird sense of humor. So he was making like weird jokes. The food was terrible at this place, by the way. So it's not like we could even like agree on food. He's someone who finds humor in like your annoyances. So if I was like annoyed about something, he would like, you know, joke about it and stuff. And I like that like bothered me. Like, it pissed me off. But after we left the place, we walked around for a little bit, and then we went to this bookstore. It's like this 2-story bookstore. It has like books downstairs, upstairs, just like old records there and everything. And we walked around there for a while. I found this book. I still have it in my bookcase. It's the book that I learned to read on. It's called In a People House, and I was looking for it, and I found it. We just had really nice conversation during that time. I think at that point, the chemistry between us just kind of, like the romantic chemistry, kind of like bubbled a little bit. So I didn't give him my number that day because I wasn't sure that I even liked him, but I was like, I'm not gonna like count him out, right? Obviously we have class together. The next time I saw him, we were in class, and I guess at that point I was like, you know, why don't like I try? Because at the time I was a very like pent up person. So like I said, how he like, you know, picked at me and I was like annoyed. I'm like, now when he picks at me, I'm just like, I can laugh it off, and I'm like, ah ha ha, like, you're so annoying. But back then I was like so shy, so didn't know how to like take a joke. I was kind of like I don't want to say like bitter, but I was like an angry person back then. So I was like really, like, when I say I was working on myself, I have like my old journal. I keep it to remind myself how far I've come mentally. I was like working on so many things that I had issues with personally. He's asking what I was doing after class, and I was like, oh, I'm just, you know, gonna go get lunch. And it popped into my head, and I was just like, do you want to come with me? And he's like, okay. And so we went and we had lunch, and it was actually like, it was a really good date. Like, it was really good. We talked, we laughed. I was not like grouchy. And I don't know, at that time I gave him my number because we were about to leave for spring break. And so I knew I wouldn't see him like for a few weeks. And I knew I was going somewhere for spring break. I didn't know if he was going anywhere, but I wouldn't be, in Denton. I was going to be on vacation somewhere. So I wanted to be able to at least, check in and like talk to him. That time I gave him my number. And yeah, so the rest is history. We texted each other over spring break. We really liked each other. I remember he went with some friends some places. He used to sneak off like at nighttime or whatever to like go and talk to me and give me his undivided attention. He took me to Colorado, which I had never been to. Colorado. It was my dream vacation, and he took me there. And then that's like when we started dating, and yeah, the rest is history. We've been together for 7.5 years. We've been married for 1.5. Yeah, so, and he's my best friend. He's my biggest supporter. A lot of my readers should, say thank you to him, because there were like several times when I was just like, I need to quit this. It's not gonna work. This is terrible. It's not going anywhere. And he kept me feeling like this was something. So I'm getting teary, like I just talking about it. But he's like, okay. But he is my biggest supporter, like for sure. And I love him. And yeah, that's how I met my husband. So thank you for asking about that. Okay. Back to writing. So my plans for Pet this year, they're ongoing currently. I am updating it weekly on Patreon for those who want to follow along as I write, and I plan on publishing it in either September or October. I did not want to rush. I know my original release date was going to be July for book 2. I did not want to rush it. And I just know that like I'm not close to being finished. So I'm still working on it. I plan on publishing it this year, and that's basically like the short answer. What do I find most challenging? I think staying motivated, honestly. Okay, I will say, personally, it's staying motivated. I think it gets really hard sometimes, especially because I'm someone who stays away from reviews. I don't need to read them. I don't need to see them. And that's my advice to anyone who wants to get into anything in the public sphere that requires you to have reviews. Don't read the reviews. Because sometimes people, I only know this review exists because my husband keeps up with my reviews. Like I said, he's my biggest supporter, but he showed me this one and I thought it was hilarious. A reader gave me 1 star, and it wasn't because she didn't enjoy the book. She actually in the comments said she enjoyed the book and she really liked it a lot. But she was mad that there was nowhere did it claim that it was part of a series. And it says it on the cover and on the spine and on the ebook cover as well and on the cover page. So it does say it. It's just she just wasn't paying attention, and I have to suffer for that. That's why I stay away from reviews, and that's also why I never really know exactly like how things are going. I know like because readers will send me messages. I know because I have people who join Patreon, so it's kind of like watching those kinds of things to continue to feel motivated. Sometimes like if the storyline's eluding me a little bit, or I don't really feel a connection to the story at a certain point, because it takes a while to get a story out. I mean, at this point, I've been working on this for a year now. There come times when there's like a lag in motivation and you just kind of want to like take a break, but you know that there are people counting on you that are waiting for the story, and even just the matter of not being able to take a break, because if you do, people will leave. So I think staying motivated is my big thing. Sometimes I get so into stories and I get so excited about them, and then once I get to a point in my head where I've reached like the pinnacle of excitement but I haven't finished the story, I'll be like, oh, like I want to shelf this for a little bit, and I can't do that for certain stories. So I think that's probably the most difficult part of the writing process for me. It's funny, I would actually pick children's books But I know that I can never really write in that sphere, because if I did, then there might be a chance that the kid could connect my name or something, and then they'd find my stuff, and I don't want little kids finding my stuff. But I love children's books. I love the innocence behind them. I love the illustrations. I love the silly stories that just resonate with kids, or at least me personally. I have an entire like section of like couple sections actually of my bookcase that are is dedicated to all the children's books that inspired me as a child. One of my top favorites is Heckety Peg, which is basically about the 7 kids. They're like named Monday through Sunday are their names, and they don't listen to their mom, and so the witch turns them into like different foods and stuff, and then the mom has to figure out who's who. That's like one of my favorites. I love like Tilly and Millie. It's about like the 2 country mouse and the city mouse, and they visit each other, and the illustrations are just like, you know, they're turning like tree houses in house, and like one of the mice lives in like the dollhouse and stuff. Another of my favorite is like The True Story of Paul Bunyan, which is basically how like the 7 great wonders of the world exist. Like the Grand Canyon exists because Paul Bunyan had kids, and he like scooped out the sand and to play with like their kids and stuff, and just cute things like that that are outside of the box thinking. I already have like this series in my head that I would start writing. It would be about like firsts, like how kids go to like the dentist or their first doctor's appointment, or like their first trip to like the playground or the pool. You know, when you're a kid, it feels so exciting, and it's all like you don't know what like certain things are, so I feel like you could turn that into such an exciting story from a child's point of view. It would just be so outlandish and like funny, and I would just love to jump into that, honestly. But like I said, if I did, I would have to like never reveal my face and do it like under a pseudonym or something, because I just don't want there to be like any connection to me, because I think I would be so devastated if a child like stumbled across like my works. That would just be really sad, and I don't want a kid to, you know, be introduced to that kind of stuff. I digress. If I could jump into a different genre, that would be the genre for sure. It just makes you like feel really good inside. It's why I like rewatch Bear in the Big Blue House and Kipper the Dog and Franklin and Little Bear. Like, I love those shows, and they like make me feel nostalgic and like happy. But if we're speaking in like adult terms, I don't really know, because I feel like my current genre allows me to like do all genres. Like, I can do darker things and classify them as like horror, or I can do like a mystery and still have like the romance aspects and elements to it. Or like, I can do fantasy, I can do mafia, I can do billionaire, I can do whatever. Like, they all kind of, because I feel like every single aspect of every genre can have romance in it, and that's like my thing is romance. Hope that answers that question. Next question. What has inspired me to write Pet? Gosh, it's been so many years since I like originally started Pet. I started Pet like while I was still in early college, I think. So the inspiration over the years has like drifted to so many different things. The Pet series as a whole, I would say was inspired by Anna Zier's Krynar series. Now, Anna Zier's was like the first dark romance that I had picked up, and when I found the Krynar series, it kind of introduced me to the idea that aliens did not have to be like hostile takeover or whatever. She did a really good spin on it, I thought. She made it to where they like peacefully integrated and took over everything or whatever, and are living like alongside them. I personally still like the hostile takeover, just because I don't like humans being in control. That's like my thing in my stories. I don't know why. It's something I gravitate towards. But I like the idea that aliens didn't have to be like little green people with antennas that were coming to probe you. I kind of began building it from there, I guess, like originally. Over the years, it has taken inspiration from a lot of things, including my personal life. It's evolved heavily over the years, so the inspiration hasn't really like remained the same. But I will say like that's where it stemmed from originally. Step away from the glass. Okay. Not sure why everyone is so intrigued by this sentence. There's no secret meaning behind it. There's no like reveal for it. And honestly, I don't know why. I don't know like where all of the focus and the excitement came from this, but it's literally just because the glass is like, it symbolizes freedom, right? Anytime Iris is like standing near the glass, Remus knows that she's someone who is basically raised outside, has had her freedom, and is like a bullheaded person who's stubborn and is going to, you know, make things difficult for herself in his eyes. To him, saying step away from the glass is just like trying to get her to move away from something that's going to motivate her to do something stupid or try and like escape. There's no like significant meaning behind it, just that, you know, in my eyes, it's like glass symbolizes freedom. Remus telling her to step away from it is him, you know, keeping her away from that freedom. Which is why at the end of the book, when they leave and she, you know, steps to the glass and puts her hand against it to say goodbye to Earth, he doesn't say anything because he knows that she's like chosen him and that this is like her future now, and there's no chance of like freedom. So that's the meaning of it. There, like, I don't really know if the phrase will even be reused anymore. It's basically like book 1 was basically like the captive part, and book 2 Remus sees her like as an equal. So yeah, so that's the meaning behind it. I don't know. I hope that answers it. I'm sorry if it wasn't as profound as everyone wants it to be, but yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Okay, how do you start writing? I feel like I could actually do an entirely, like, honestly, these are good questions, guys, and I could actually do an entire series on each of these questions, but for now, I will keep these answers brief. The answer to this is you just do it. Me describing my writing process has taken years for me to even get it to this point. I used to just have my laptop and Microsoft Word, and not even Microsoft Word because they made you pay for it a few years ago. I used to have the notepad in my computer and I would just write chapters on it. It's cringy to like go back, but if I go back and look at all of the chapters and stuff that I used to work on and write and stuff, they're random. Like, I was just writing up to a certain point and I would just do that because I had this idea in my head and I just wanted to get it out. So how do you start writing? Just do it. Get an idea that's nagging in your brain that you want to get out and write about it, and don't do it for anyone else's enjoyment but yours. That's how I started, and that's how I continue. If I don't love it, I'm not motivated to write it. So it has to be something that I want to do. So it has to be something that you want to do. I know I love this question because I feel like no one has ever asked me it before. And I am so excited to actually show it to y'all, but I won't today. Sorry. Basically, we're moving in like a month, and so I've started decluttering. I've started moving things around. My writing setup is a mess right now because I'm trying to get everything done for Torment, and I would love to give y'all a tour of my office, but right now it's just not. It would take a little more time than like a 1-minute interval on a Q&A video. So what I'm going to do is put a pin in this question, and I'm going to turn this question into an actual vlog video for you guys in the future. Sometime in September, because that's when we move and that's when I'll have like my new office space. Right now, it's just, I don't even know what to call it. It's just like a mess. But thank you for that kind of question. I love that so much, like so much. So it makes me feel important. I just realized I wrote down all of the Q&A in one of my notebooks, and under that one and like a couple that y'all asked me, I put a bracket that says video topics. So I guess like I am going to make these into videos in the future. So nice job, y'all. Good question. Okay, short version of this one. How do I get out of a writing/reading slump? I don't think I'm ever in a reading slump. I love reading. I will read it, and I don't think I've ever like DNF'd a book, because I just, even if I don't like it, I'll just like go through it talking shit, and I'm like, and I'll put it on my shelf, because for me, like, that's my trophy, is like all these books, I've read them, I've finished them, like I can tell you about them, and that's like my pride and joy. As for a writing slump, I try not to stress too hard on it, just because I'm someone who will go down the rabbit hole, and my husband has to like talk me out of it. If it's so bad that I can't get a story out, I let my readers know, and everyone's usually very nice about it, and it's just like, I understand, and come back when you're ready, and da-da-da. So I'm very lucky to have like understanding readers. But I do like to reread the story. I do like to go over my notes and see if there's anything that I missed that I want to add. And honestly, listening to music, the music that I listen to, really, really helps. The music is so moving to me personally that it helps me come up with like scenes in my head. The music just makes me think of stuff that I want to write about. So that's kind of like what I do. I don't know if that'll help you, but that's what I do. My comfort show / movie when I'm burnt out. My comfort shows are The Office, Modern Family, and The Middle. I love those shows. I rewatched Modern Family so many times, like all the way from the first season to the 11th. I love Modern Family. I love everything about it. There's so many episodes that make me cry. I don't think I've ever watched any episode that didn't make me laugh. I love Modern Family. The Office just gives me like heavy nostalgia, and it's hilarious, honestly. I think it's funny. I love seeing like the early 2000s stuff transition into like the modern things that I'm used to. I think it's like a really funny show. It kind of loses me at the end, towards the end of the seasons, like the later seasons when they start, you're seeing like the camera crew are actual people and all of that. So that kind of like, and I'll just go back and like rewatch from the beginning. But I love The Office. I think it's like hilarious. I'm currently rewatching The Middle. I love The Middle. It's funny. It gives you like fall vibes, honestly, because they like live in Indiana and they live in like a cul-de-sac with all their neighbors. You see their neighbors constantly. You see like the kids' school life. You just see all this different stuff. I don't know. So I really like The Middle. It's like one of my shows. It's at like it's like the bottom 3 of those. It goes Modern Family, The Office, and in The Middle. Those are like my comfort shows that I'll watch. And if I'm like super down, my husband will put me in a blanket burrito, and I will watch Bear in the Big Blue House or Little Bear. Little Bear is so calming. Like the music, the happiness, the friendship. It's just like TV gold. Movies. Howl's Moving Castle. I love Howl's Moving Castle or Ponyo. I love Ponyo. Those are my favorite movies. I will watch them even when I'm like not in a slump. I love those movies. Those are my favorite films. I love Pixar films. I feel like they are very like emotional. They make you feel so like good once you reach the end of the movie. I'm obsessed with the newer one they came out with, Elemental. I don't know why nobody liked that one. I love that one. Brave is like, I love Brave so much. That movie just, I could rewatch it all the time. But I prefer to rewatch it in the fall because it gives me fall vibes. Luca, I swear, I'm gonna like write a book inspired by Luca. Luca, it was such a beautiful movie. Like at the end with the soundtrack and everything, I cried. I'm like, I love it so much. Soul, great movie. Great movie. Honestly, if you were feeling like sad or down, or you feel like, life, like what is life? Watch Soul. I feel like it just did such a good job of like explaining to like kids. I'm an adult and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. He did a good job of explaining like that you don't have to have like a specific purpose in life. Like you should just enjoy it. Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna go watch it now. It just I love it. So Pixar movies or Studio Ghibli movies, those are like my go-tos. Or like the classic Disney movies. Fun fact, I can quote any classic Disney movie, especially Mulan. That's like my jam. Front to back, all the songs. I know every single like Disney song. I know them. Me and my older sister, we can like any Disney song, we'll sing it. We know it. So yeah, those are my comfort shows. My comfort shows and movies. My most chaotic writing habits. For me personally, I think just jumping from book to book to book to book, like writing wise. Sometimes I just get like inspired and I will sit down and work on it, and I like want to keep working on it, and then I'm like, oh, I'm done, and then I like jump to the next book because I'm like, ooh, I want to write about this right now. There's like so many stories swirling around in my head that I want to get out, and I just don't have like the time, I guess, to do it. So I think that might be like my chaotic writing habit, like personally. I plan on releasing The Blood King. I wanted to release it in 2025. I don't know how that's going to look with, because I was going over it the other day, and I know you guys don't want to hear this, but it needs to be rewritten. It needs to be fixed. And I don't mean rewritten like completely. I just mean like there are some things that just don't really make sense for the story. And I'm gonna have to like go through and do that, and it's gonna be fun. I love rewriting my books, honestly, and I think that's something that, you know, a lot of writers do in their editing process. I do it before I get to the editing process because personally, once I get to the editing process, I want to be done. All I want to do is like find misspelling, grammar, and maybe like take out a few scenes if I think that they're unnecessary. But at that point, the storyline, I want it to be like solid. I want like a solid story. So I'm going to rewrite The Blood King, and hopefully, you know, by the end of the year, I can get it published, and if not, then it'll come out next year in 2026 sometime. But I'll keep you guys updated on that because, like I said earlier, I love The Blood King. It has a special, special place in my heart, right next to the Pet series. It's my top favorites. Like, the Pet series and The Blood King are my favorite books that I've written so far, and I'm like really excited to add like my current Haley Inez pizzazz to it. It was for sure early Haley, like Wattpad days, updating like just to update, you know, it was like that kind of writing. So now I'm excited to like add my author flair to it, like sit down, take notes, figure all that out, my characters. So yeah. Okay, my wonderful readers, thank you so much. This was like really fun, and I'm really excited that you all like care this much about me and my stuff in my life. And I don't know, I just get so excited and like teary-eyed thinking about it. I know I said that I would also give you guys an update on Torment, which I posted on my Instagram, but I will let you know again just in case you didn't see it. I plan on publishing Pet in September or October of 2025. I am currently at the midpoint of the book. I update it weekly on Patreon. If you don't want to wait for it to be published, you can jump on Patreon and join one of the tiers, and you can read along as I write it. If not, that's perfectly fine, and you can buy the book when it comes out. It'll be published on Amazon, in ebook and in print. Once I finish it, I have to put it in the publishing process, which means sending it to like my editor, and then they'll send it back to me, and I send it back to them, and then we just keep going back and forth. I have to contact my cover artist and all of that, but we'll get it done, guys. We'll get it published, and I'll give you guys a release date, and I want to do a release party. I thought it was so fun last year when I did it, and I had like a couple readers actually show up. I had like 10 readers show up, and honestly, to me, that's like amazing. I had several who were messaging me that was just like, oh, I like would have, but I'm like doing this weekend, and I couldn't because I live here and I would have traveled. Like every little anything counts, y'all, actually, personally for me. So I will for sure probably be doing like another release party this year. And if I do, you get free books, you get signed free books, and you get merchandise and shirts, Team Remus shirts, and probably some more if I can come up with some more phrases to put on shirts, but like drinks and food and all of that, and you get to see me, which is the best. It's the highlight of the evening, right? Just kidding. I know you're there for the books. If I did do a release party, it would probably be in October sometime because my best friend is getting married in September, and then she has to go on her honeymoon, and I can't do a release party without her. So we'll get it all figured out, guys. Make sure you follow all of my socials. This is my YouTube channel, so subscribe. I am Haley Inez is my Instagram, and then Haley Inez is my Facebook page, which is connected to my Instagram. I love hearing from you guys, so don't be shy in the comments. Don't be shy on Instagram. I mean, like I said, my motivation is knowing that you guys care, so I love all of that. I love this. I had a lot of fun doing this. I can't wait to share everything else with you guys in the future, but for now, I am going to head out, and I will see you next time. Bye!